Welcome to Angling Buzz presented by Fleet Farm. I'm Troy Linder. On today's show, we're going to be focusing on big fish, and specifically lake trout, northern pike, and muskie. Now all these fish, they're widely distributed across the upper Midwest and into Canada. And well, the truth is, this time of year, shallow water muskie fishing is a great time to be doing that. On today's show, we're joined by Lee Tauken. He's a very successful Wisconsin muskie guide. He's a muskie guru. He makes his own line of muskie fishing lures, as well as running a very successful YouTube channel, Today's Angler. Lee, you've been out fishing a lot this season. How is everything progressing?
Well, Troy, fishing's been pretty good. We're finally getting into the summer part of the season, and the weed lines are developed. All the fish, largemouth bass, smallmouth, walleye, pike muskie are all moving into their classic summertime structure spots. Typically when we get into July, the weed lines get super developed, and you'll even get some fish moving on to rock structures. So that's a real predictable movement of muskies from perhaps the open water, maybe more roaming fish, to the more structure-oriented fish. And that's my favorite kind of fishing, is target casting and weed beds, rock piles, mid-lake structures. That's tough to beat.
And what about big pike location in the middle of summer?
Pike are a much different animal, particularly when they get over the 30-inch range and the 30 to 40-plus inch range. They really become more of a cool water species and prefer a lot deeper water during the summer months. Once the water temps get over the 70-degree range, you'll often find them in main lake points, steep secondary break lines, drop-offs, possibly some weed structure if it's really close to deep water, and perhaps you might even find them suspended over the basin. Depends on what lake you're on, but in the 40 to even 50, 60 feet of water, where they'll just be roaming open water looking for that forage.
And if you had to identify some key presentations for pike and muskie, what would they be?
For the summer months muskie fishing, it's tough to go wrong with bucktails. Anything in the large number 10 bladed bucktails, even down to a single number 8 like this. You can throw the doubles. This is a Boilermaker, so if you're faced with high weed growth, you can throw this bait right over the weed tops without it sinking down. Whatever bucktails you prefer, that's definitely, if you had one bait in the summertime to throw, that would be tough to beat. You could pretty much throw that all the time. Of course, probably the second most popular and effective technique for summer muskies is rubber. This is a regular size Medusa. That would be a good bet. Of course, you guys know I'm a topwater fanatic. If you given the right conditions, whether it's early morning, evenings, or you got a nice front moving in, you got some heavy skies, heavy clouds, topwater baits like this flap tail here, that's my go-to bait. If I had to pick one surface bait, man, I'm telling you, the flap tails have been just absolutely deadly for us for quite a few years now. Tail baits like this chopper, you can cover water a little faster. Those would be great options for throwing over either rock piles, weed beds, or whatever type of structure you're finding these summer muskies on.
Now, what are some important techniques to catch big pike?
So if you really wanted to target big pike during the summer months, you're going to want to focus on that deeper water, that 15 to 25, and maybe even suspended out 30, 40, 50 feet of water. Probably number one technique would be trolling deep diving crankbaits. A jointed perch depth raider is definitely one of the most popular baits for targeting pike, deep trolling techniques. Another thing though that you could target those deep pike with are swim baits. You can count these things down. This thing will hit 20 feet of water on the bottom quite quickly. And don't think this is limited to just a casting technique with this swim bait here. You can actually troll these baits and have been fairly successful with these as well. Just put them on the down rod behind the boat, and just vary your depth. You can add some lead in front of it too if you want to get the thing down. But big pike love swim baits, man. There's no question about that.
Well, thank you, Lee, for joining us this week. Good luck this season. We'll be following you across your social medias. And stay with us here on Angling Buzz. We have our highlight destination feature as Angling Buzz continues.
Simple, fast, and easy. This automatic launching and loading system on boat-to-trailer.com makes unloading and loading your boat a breeze on both roller or bunk trailer configurations. This system is a simple one-bolt install. No more hanging over the boat, no more cranking in the boat, and no more wet feet. Speed your boat ramp time by visiting boat-to-trailer.com.
I'm not like you and my friend. You're not very much like you. By my side, I see things differently. You're my best friend, yes, my best friend. Rolling through this world together. You're my best friend, very best friends forever and ever. You're my best.
Lake Vermilion. Explore, relax, reconnect.
Minnesota's most beautiful lake.
Get hooked on our trophy walleye,
That's a beauty.
bass,
My favorite fish.
musky fish,
That's a beauty there.
Things to do? You'll never get bored.
Rooms with a view? We got 'em.
Lake Vermilion. 4 seasons of fun.
The Rumble series from Northland Tackle. This line of crankbaits will up your walleye game. The Rumble Shiner, the Rumble Shad, the Rumble Stick, the Rumble Bug. Premium balsa baits with the durability, action, colors, and fishability that trigger the bites. True on the troll and go the distance on the cast. The Rumble series from Northland Tackle. We are walleye.
Welcome back to Angling Buzz. Up next, it's our highlight destination feature. We're heading up to Saskatchewan. This is a big province with big fish.
Huge lakes, trophy fish. Welcome to Saskatchewan, Canada. Home to 100,000 lakes and rivers and some of the best freshwater fishing in North America. Lake Athabasca, Tasman, Tobin, Reindeer, Diefenbaker, Wollaston, Lac La Ronge, Last Mountain are just a few of the well-known monster-producing fish factories. Hundreds of road-accessible and fly-in lodges usher you into a world of pristine wilderness, clear waters, and gigantic record-breaking fish.
Yep, big one. We got a nice one.
Whoa,
Northern pike.
that's a beautiful pike. That's a big, great big pike, Bubba.
Tobin Lake monster.
Big northern pike can be found throughout Saskatchewan, but up in the cool northern lakes, they grow to monster sizes. Giant northerns are one of the fiercest and most thrilling of all freshwater sport fish. With the short summers in the North Country, pike are generally caught in shallow water throughout the season.
Holy smokes, grab the tail of that, Nick. That is a huge pike. Hey man, I tell you what, spring is a great time to catch big pike in the shallows, but coming up here in the fall, man, you fish so many cool spots. The trout are up too. It's just a beautiful time with nobody here, and big fish are abundant. Cool.
That's a sick fish.
That is a sweet fish.
Lake trout, the only trout species native to Saskatchewan, can be found in cool, clear, and deep lakes in the northern half of the province. Saskatchewan has boasted some huge catches. The current provincial record is a 51-incher caught out of Lake Athabasca in 1995. Every year, some real monster trout are caught on Reindeer, Athabasca, Tasman, Lac La Ronge, Scott, and Salvin.
Pretty solid fish.
Jeez, that's a
Pretty
sweet
solid.
fish, dude. That is awesome, man.
Wow.
I'd say that's, oh.
There we go.
There's one.
I think we're gonna get a couple more like that.
Wow, unbelievable. I mean, it's just as fast as you get it down there, right?
Well, it's faster than you can get it down there.
This is Fish in a Barrel, man. We came up here for the pike. Literally, we doubled up as soon as we get it down.
Johnny was saying, all right, make sure you drop the bait all the way down to the bottom, and then, you know, jig a couple times and you'll catch it. The only problem is we can't get down to the bottom.
It's just nuts.
There we go.
Perfect. Beautiful fish. Check out the fins on that one. Careful. There we go. It's like, well, I'm just gonna stop here. Oh, there's a trout on it.
Walleye. They can be found in many lakes throughout the province. Record-sized walleye have been caught from many Saskatchewan lakes. A few of the more famous Saskatchewan walleye lakes include Diefenbaker, Tobin, and Last Mountain Lake. The provincial record stands at 18 pounds, 5 ounces, caught out of Tobin Lake in 2005.
Boy, is there nice walleyes in this water.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. It's a fabulous body of water. It's just unbelievable the number of fish we've been catching.
Saskatchewan gold right here,
Yeah.
Tobin Lake. Look at that. What a beautiful fish.
Arctic grayling. The Arctic grayling is an unbelievably beautiful fish found in cold, clear lakes and fast-moving streams in northern Saskatchewan. It has a well-earned reputation as a spectacular fighter, known to leap clear out of the water when hooked. Small inline spinners and flies are the easiest way to catch grayling. Though rainbow trout, brown trout, brook trout, and tiger trout are not native to Saskatchewan waters, they are plentiful. Saskatchewan has stocked hundreds of lakes, ponds, creeks, and rivers with the various trout species. The current all-tackle world record rainbow, caught by Sean Conrad, weighed 48 pounds and was caught out of Lake Diefenbaker. In 2018, a 32-pound record brown trout was caught again out of Lake Diefenbaker. With so many lakes and rivers that host world-class fishing opportunities, combined with the wild, untouched wilderness, tranquil beauty, solitude, and warm hospitality are a guarantee here.
And these fish are rare and hard to come by in most parts of the world, but when you come up here, giant pike like this are abundant. There's also walleyes, pike, lakers, you name it. Canada is home to true giants.
We're going home tomorrow. I'm pretty sad.
Yeah.
I'd like to stay for a little while.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, this place. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, there's some pretty incredible fishing there. I've never been to Saskatchewan. It's definitely a bucket list trip for myself, and I know a lot of anglers as well. Well, stay with us after the short commercial break. We got our Buzz Bite reports as Angling Buzz continues.
Looking for the perfect fishing vacation? Leech Lake, Minnesota. There's over 112,000 acres of water to explore with fantastic walleye, bass, pike, panfish, and trophy muskies. The fishing opportunities are endless. Leech Lake has it all with over 30 resorts, lodges, campgrounds, and hotels line its pristine shores. Plan your trip. It's Minnesota's original up-north vacation destination.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Hey, Jason Mitchell here, the Angling Buzz Weekly Report. I'm up here at Viking Lodge here in northern Manitoba here, and I was up here about 10 days ago. We had 30-40 mile an hour winds and lots of rain, and so we got to experience some pretty good fishing, but we were actually up here bear hunting as well. So back up here this week to try to get a bear, and actually we did harvest a bear, but when you're in a place like this, you have to do a lot of fishing, and so we've been fishing out here and finding fish in all the classic spots. It's just stupid good fishing. I mean, it's nothing to catch 50 to 100 fish a day. Jigs and plastics, jigs and salted shiners. These fish are just coming out of their post-spawn areas where there's massive movements of fish. Wherever there's a narrow or a neck down, there's just lots of fish going from point A to point B, and you can just sit there and intercept them. We've also been catching some big pike. The big pike are starting to move up into bays where we're finding those in, say, 5 to 8, 9 feet of water. Just wherever there's cabbage coming up, we're catching pike, and then we're also catching lake trout. So it's kind of getting to that coveted time of the year where a lot of things are happening across the country. Probably some of the best, easiest fishing of the year at a lot of places.
Thanks, Jason. Now let's head back to the States to Lake Vermilion with Billy Rosner.
Hey, it's topwater time. I've been catching some nice smallmouth bass out on the lake, on your X-Wrap prop baits, your poppers, walleyes, transitions, anywhere rock to mud, mud to sand, that sort of thing. Watch electronics, looks for bugs and those smaller perch. Also, the muskies are out in those open basins now. They're chasing tulipies and whitefish, which are feeding on the mayfly larvae coming up. On my hummingbirds, I'll see those little balls or circles of mayfly larvae, and then you'll see those tulipies and whitefish, and then you'll see those big hooks, which will be muskies or big pike feeding on those. So we're definitely in all our summer patterns here. Live bait rigs are working for the walleyes with a leech or a crawler. Don't forget your jigging wraps and your VMC hair jigs. Don't forget those. Those are all putting walleyes in the boat.
Thanks, Billy. Now let's head south to Leech Lake with the Leisure Outdoor Boys.
This past week has kind of been defined by wind, followed by even bigger wind. So one thing that I've switched to is utilizing my electronics and really keying in on the slip bobber bite. When I'm fishing slip bobbers, I'm trying to match the hatch. A lot of times I'm using kind of an orange jig head there. What hatch am I matching? Crayfish. Crayfish are definitely molting, and that orange jig is a great mimicker. The other thing in wind that jig head does is that it prevents that leech from kind of bouncing up and down within the water column. If I get a kind of calm day, which we haven't had, I'll go to a plain hook. Another thing that I've keyed in on this year is this little gold, kind of more of an ice fishing jig, and it kind of provides that great balance between a plain hook, and then it's about a 30-second out, so it still allows me to kind of anchor it a little bit and prevent that jig from popping up and down, but still allows it to kind of float as it needs to. It's been a super efficient way to put fish in the boat and be able to battle the elements.
Thanks, Jim. Now let's head over to the Duluth area with Jared Houston.
My AnglingBuzz friends, we are catching big fish out in the confines of northwest Wisconsin. Got some fun clients today. Catch release on these piggers. Smallies are obviously biting. Walleyes are biting. Sunfish are biting. Crappies are biting. Everything is biting. It's going really well here in Duluth Superior, Twin Ports area of Lake Superior. Water temperatures are now spiking, getting to about that 70-degree mark. Kind of getting to that post-spawn on some of these species of fish and spawn on some of these species of fish. We're not picking on the ones that are on their bed still. We're leaving them alone. Vegetation's finally starting to come up. Lake Superior's got a good trout salmon bite going on. If you troll, North Shore up to 2 harbors, you're gonna get running some pods of some fish. Flasher fly combos, stick baits are still working. St. Louis River, catching them on crankbaits on the shallow flats, mostly the channel edges, and we're also getting some on worms. We're doing both at the same time, if we can help it. That's kind of what we got going on in the Twin Ports. Everything's rocking and rolling. Hopefully everybody's out having some fun, catching some fish, rock and roll. We'll see you on the water.
Developed from the latest technology, Blackfish technical apparel outperforms, so anglers have gear that they can trust in, no matter the conditions.
Like many of you, I've had back issues.
From the pounding waves of Lake Erie.
To over 30 years of competitive angling.
And a lifetime on the water, but not anymore.
Smooth Moves changed the game.
It's a must-have for me and my clients.
It's like my boat is floating on air.
They're easy to install.
Fully adjustable.
It makes a day on the water a whole lot more comfortable.
Smooth your ride with Smooth Moves.
Marine Pro, from the makers of Seafoam Motor Treatment. Marine Pro is a complete marine fuel system treatment for all types of marine engines. Just pour it in. Marine Pro works to clean and lubricate your entire fuel system, helps engines start easier and run smoother, stabilizes fuel, and helps prevent costly boat engine problems. Fast starts and smooth running power have never been this easy. Seafoam Marine Pro, available at Fleet Farm.
In 2021, Minnesota watercraft inspectors found that 95% of boaters were doing their best to prevent the spread of aquatic invasive species. In short, drain plugs were removed, no standing water was inside the boat, and no zebra mussels or plants were found on the boat or trailer. Thanks for following these simple habit-forming rules. Clean aquatic plants and animals from boats, trailers, and equipment. Drain all water from motors and live wells. Remove all boat plugs and dispose of unused bait in the trash.
And now it's time for our cool products brought to you by Fleet Farm. And today we've been talking about big fish, so we're going to start with a big net. This is from Clam Outdoors. This is their Colossus net. So it has a nice long handle that locks into place here, actually extends out as well. You have a really wide hoop as well as a deep bucket to the net, rubber-coated net to protect the fish. You can fit a really, really big fish in here. Obviously, we're talking about big muskie and big pike. This is the Colossus net from Clam Outdoors. And up next, a couple different fishing line options from Suffix. The Performance braid and the Suffix 832 braid. And if you're muskie and pike fishing, each one of these has some different advantages. You can find out a little bit more online as well, but these are two great options from Suffix. And up next from Northland Tackle, the Rumble Beast. This is great for trolling. It gets down like 20 to 30 feet deep. You can also cast this, but if you look at the bait here, it's got the locking lip on the front. This is made of premium balsa, big strong hooks. This is really perfect for trolling. You can put this flatline trolling or you put this behind planer boards. The Rumble Beast from Northland Tackle. And up next from Rapala, the Super Shad Wrap. I've used these primarily for casting. You can almost fish this like a big jerkbait with big sweeping movements of the rod to trigger big muskie to bite. Sometimes they want a smaller bait. You know, we call this a smaller bait in the muskie world. This is the Super Shad Wrap from Rapala. And next from Northland Tackle, the Reed Runner series. Now, you're probably familiar with the traditional kind of bass size. This would also work for northern pike as well, but when you want to upsize for muskie or bigger pike, you want the bigger magnum size Reed Runner spinnerbait. You can see these nice bright colors, stronger wire throughout the bait to handle a bigger fish and a bigger bite. The Reed Runner series from Northland Tackle. And next from Daiwa, the Pro Rex 400. This is a reel made for big fish. It has the TWS, the T-wing system on the front. You can see that's great for line management coming on and off the spool. A big power handle. Digigear system in here, as well as a really, really strong UTD drag system, which you need for big, big fish. Just a fantastic reel that's made for big line, big baits, and big fish. The Daiwa Pro Rex TWS 400 HP. Tools are important when you're handling big fish, and this Bubba Blade hook remover is one of them. A nice non-slip grip to this, and really simple. You just put this in the fish's mouth, and it's safe for you, safe for the fish, and you just pull this to grab onto the hook and pull the hook out from Bubba Blade, the hook remover. And to my left here, this is an 8-tray tackle bag from Lakes and Rivers. You can see this can hold a lot of tackle. Like I said, 8 tackle boxes fit inside of this. You have a nice padded shoulder strap, and you have compartments on the side and on the front. You can just fit a lot of gear inside here. If you're fishing for muskie or you just have a lot of tackle, this is something you want to consider from Lakes and Rivers. And from St. Croix Rods, their Mojo Muskie series is a great intersection of performance, quality, and value. This particular one, this is an 8-foot medium heavy power fast action, which would be great for a lot of different applications and techniques to catch muskie. Has a long butt handle, so you can tuck this under your arm to set the hook on big fish. That gives you a lot of leverage, non-slip grip wind handle on here, and great rod guides throughout the length of this rod. This is an 8-foot model. Again, this is fantastic. You get the St. Croix quality at a great price, the Mojo Muskie series. And lastly, the Dakota Lithium 100 amp hour lithium battery. This is roughly half the weight of a comparable lead-acid battery. It charges 5 times faster, this lasts 4 times longer, and the voltage stays nice and even, unlike lead-acid batteries, which can drop off. They also offer an 11-year warranty on this battery. That's incredible when you think of the lifetime of your battery. This is a great value when you look ahead, almost a decade you can have for a warranty. This is the Dakota Lithium 100 amp hour battery. Be sure to shop online anytime at fleetfarm.com and also visit your local Fleet Farm store. Right now it's time for our technique of the week.
It's amazing how when these big pikes show up on these rock spots, they just are nice. I mean, we're not catching those little pike at all. They're all really, really quality fish. And I'm gonna grab him. And you can see what I've got in front of me here before I even grab this fish. I've got a nice collection of tools here, and that's really, really important for dealing with big fish like this. So I have that. In this case, I probably can just pop it out with my hands, but I'll show you what I actually have on board. Bucktail, beautiful pike. Man, oh man. I'll let this go and I'll share with you the tools that I've got on board to deal with critters like this. So of course a net is a big deal to have on board, but a few other critical tools are, one, a jaw spreader. We've been fishing with a lot of soft plastics, but really any lure, fish can just, muskies can swallow it with those treble hooks. Being able to get in and get access to those hooks and get them out easily. So a jaw spreader is great. What I did with this, and this is really, I think, a big deal for muskie fishing, is they can have such a tough bite, and even big pike, is I've doubled this up and it's electrical taped on there, and that's really, really important to be able to open their mouth. But another way to open their mouth is I've got this little Rapala grippers here, fish grippers, and what I'll do is I'll hook them in the bottom jaw when they're in the net, and I'll hold the fish up against the boat, and it just naturally opens the fish's mouth up. So that's another great way to get access to baits that are hooked deep. And this has become my new favorite tool. This is like a Bubba Fish Hookouts deal, and it's got a little hook on the end, and I can just drive this thing into the fish's mouth. I grab the hook right here, and I can just pop it out, and I don't have to worry about getting my hands close. That's what's dangerous. If you're fishing with big baits that have multiple hooks, the fish is thrashing, you want to keep your hands, your wrists, everything away from the fish. So this gives you, a safe way to pop those hooks out. And if you can't get them out, of course, a cutters is a must-have. You've got to have a good pair of cutters, and then of course, pliers. And with those tools, you're set to handle the big critters in Sunset Country.
Yes, it's important to have the correct tools, especially when you're handling big fish like muskie. Well, in next week's show, we're going to be talking about how to become a better panfish angler. And as always here on The Buzz, we want to remind you to help stop the spread of aquatic invasive species. Anytime you're leaving any body of water, remember, clean, drain, dry. And be sure to enter our sweepstakes. You can win an awesome weekend up on Lake Vermilion. You can enter online at fleetfarm.com and also your local Fleet Farm store. Well, thank you for joining us this week. I'm Troy Linder, and we'll see you next time.